Today in our 2014 Hyundai Veloster, we're going to be installing Curt's Class 1 1¼ inch trailer hitch receiver, part number C11254. And this is what our hitch is going to look like when it's installed on the vehicle. Most of the cross tube is going to be visible, however it's going to be tucked up pretty far underneath, so unless you're really down at that level, you're not going to be able to notice it. It's a Class 1 hitch with a 1¼ inch by 1¼ inch receiver. This is great for using accessories such as bike racks, cargo carriers, and for very light towing. It comes with a 1/2 inch hitch pin and clip and features plate style safety chain loops. There's a fairly large opening here, so it should accommodate most safety chain styles. Now Curt does recommend that you use a stabilization strap whenever hauling any non-trailer loads. You can pick one of those up here at etrailer.com. It features a 100-pound tongue weight, which is the force going down on top of the receiver, and a 1,000-pound gross trailer weight, which is how much that it can pull behind it. It is important to make sure you check your vehicle's owner's manual to ensure you're not exceeding its towing capacities. And now to help you when deciding on accessories, I've got some measurements for you. From the ground to the top inside edge of the receiving tube, it's going to measure about 9¼ inches. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the rearmost edge of the rear bumper, it's going to measure about 6½ inches. Now that we've gone over some of the features, let's show you how to get it installed. We're underneath the rear bumper on our passenger side. Next to your muffler here, we'll need to remove 2 nuts with a 10mm socket. This will allow us to lower our heat shield down out of the way. Just need to bend it down slightly. Next, we'll need to remove the plastic trim piece on the driver's side. Remove the plastic push pins from the bottom using a screwdriver. This may be easier to use a Phillips and a flathead. The Phillips takes out the center piece, which allows it to be released, but a flathead screwdriver can be used afterwards to pry down the center piece even further, because they kind of want to slip, and then you can pry the rest of it all the way out. There'll be 2 screw push pins that need to be removed, and then you'll need to remove 2 nuts using a 10mm socket. Pull the panel down and set it aside. There'll be a rubber plug located on each side of the frame rail. We're going to remove those plugs using a flat-bladed screwdriver. We now need to enlarge the rearmost hole on our passenger side, just next to our exhaust hanger here. We're going to enlarge it with a 1/2 inch drill bit, and I've sprayed a little lubricant on it to make it drill out a little bit easier. It's not a bad idea to take some clear coat and just spray it over your hole there to prevent any rust and corrosion. We'll now take our fish wire, feed it through the hole that we just drilled out. We're going to go towards the front of the vehicle to the larger hole where we removed the grommet, and we'll need to come down out of that hole. And I always like to take the end of my fish wire and just put a little crook in the side. That way, in case you let go of it, it doesn't pull your bolt all the way through. On the coiled end of the fish wire, we're going to slide on our small spacer. There are 3 of these spacers in the kit, and our smaller carriage bolts. Thread that onto your coil, then poke up the spacer and the bolt into the frame and pull it back through with your fish wire. Then again on our passenger side, we're going to take our fish wire now. We're going to slide the spacer over top of the coil, thread another one of the small carriage bolts onto the coiled wire. We'll push it up into the large hole, followed by the spacer, and then feed it back down. Then on the driver's side, we're going to use that same reverse pull wire technique to push the bolt up into the frame and our spacer and pull it back down. We've now got an extra pair of hands to help us lift our hitch into position. When you're putting it up, make sure to feed your pull wires through, and we'll use these to guide it up into position. Now you will have to come on your passenger side a little bit first to go around your exhaust hanger. But once you've got it, then you can go back to your driver's side and get it up into position. After you pull off your fish wire, thread on one of the small nuts. Once you've got one nut started on each side, the hitch will hold itself into position. I like to use the hitch to help hold the bolt into place. If you shove it forward or backward, it kind of locks that bolt from pushing back up into the frame rail, making it easier to thread on that nut. Then you can recenter it after you've got it started. Then slide your large carriage bolt and large spacer through your tow hook and your hitch, and we'll thread our large nut on the other side. Now torque all of your hardware to the specifications in your instructions. We'll torque our large bolt using a 19mm socket. And you'll torque all of your smaller bolts with a 17mm socket. We can now reinstall our heat shield on the passenger side. The plastic shield we removed on our driver's side can be trimmed and reinstalled, or you could just leave it off. We'll be leaving ours off. And now once you've finished, there's a good chance that your heat shield here at the rear of your exhaust pipes is going to contact your hitch, and that'll cause an annoying rattle that nobody wants. Some of your options that you have is you could cut off part of this heat shield, or you could just use a pair of vice grips, clip onto it, and just bend it up out of the way. Once you've got it bent out of the way, rock your exhaust up and down, back and forth, and verify that it's not going to contact the hitch. And that completes our installation of Curt's Class 1 1¼ trailer hitch receiver on our 2014 Hyundai Veloster.
Thanks for watching. Click the link in our description below to shop, learn more, or visit us at etrailer.com. And leave us a comment if you have any questions.